Hello there everyone, this is Iron Mark 3 and welcome to what I hope will be a nice, chill time in a game called Final Upgrade. I'm sorry, I've always had a bit of a bent towards ambient and techno style music, trance style music as well, and this game tends to have a fair bit of that. But it's also the kind of game you could get lost in fairly easily, at least that's the way I find it. It may be early access, but there is some stuff here, which is why I'm going to do a short series on it, and we'll see how we do. How to describe this? Final Upgrade. Basically, you are taking over the systems within the game to expand and develop the reach of humanity, and you're in charge of the resources required to sustain them. Or that they say they require to sustain them. They're sometimes a bit odd, but there's a whole bunch of products in this game, and what they demand is actually somewhat randomized as well. So there is RNG elements in terms of what you need to actually adapt to and produce. But you're in charge of doing things like building this back here, which is, in this case, it's a space station. And it's built with defensive turrets, so there is actually some combat as well, because there are rival factions in this game too. But let's get into this, shall we? Because this game quite handily has speed functions, including a pause, and it doesn't care what you do with it. So let's go ahead and get in here. New game. I'll turn off the tutorial because that just runs you through the first few systems. By the way, the arsehole system, the starting system, is not random generated, it's always the same. But every other system in the game is RNG. So that's that. Hint, leave on, button resources, off, that's fine. Hyper jump, that's how your ship gets to and fro, standard cost. Wall segments built from 1 cube is 8, so that's how efficiently resources go into building your structures. Peaceful mode is off, so there are enemies. Damage multiplier, leave that at 0.5. Green faction aggression trigger. So this is stuff that happened in one of the more recent updates. The 3 enemy factions, red, green, and ancients, can become aggressive. And if I want to increase the difficulty, I can set this. So this one is how many machines you have in total before green becomes aggressive. Machines, by the way, are all your processing gear and stuff like that. Red is number of claimed sectors, so how big your area of actual control is. So let's leave that there. And yellow is just player level overall. I don't know. Let's leave things like kind of, I guess, about here-ish. 40 sectors, 80, 800, 125, sure. So they will get aggressive eventually, but odds are we're going to knock them out before that. So let's go and drop in here. Now we're into the ambient section. Okay. So, backstory. We are actually a sentient AI, a machine intelligence. We have been created by humanity to expand their reach beyond the stars. Unfortunately, the ungrateful swines have decided it would be a good idea to give us this ship, a stock of metal, and tell us to go wander over that way and develop things. And we'll just sit here and reap the benefits forever and ever, amen. That's basically what they've done here. I mean, it used to be you could actually go to Earth and restock on energy, but that functionality got removed and no new functionality for Earth has been put back in. So Earth just sits here looking pretty. There's literally nothing you can do to interact with Earth and its people. You can't even buy more materials and stuff from them. The other thing that worlds do is they give you access to their cloud storage systems, which is incredibly generous of them. You must admit, they give you the cloud storage. They give us the plans for these computer processing arrays, which actually converts our free memory to develop blueprints and things. For materials, for weaponry, for modules, for all that stuff. It's all in the memory. We get more memory by expanding humanity across the stars, but we can't build our own storage, so we need to actually develop the colonies for that. the setup's a little bit weird. Basically, humanity is telling me to go off and do that. So let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and jump to Mars sector, which is our first stop. Builds up its charge, and whoop, off we go. I'm a little shaky on this, but I think we are actually behind developing this jump drive, or at least getting it operational as well, which is why we're in charge of the expansion rather than humans doing it. But anyway, moving on. Next step, Mars sector. We aren't here. We can claim it using 1000 megawatts of power. It's a very cheap sector. It takes power from the ship you've reached into orbit with. And oh look, now there's a colony here. See, humans spreading like the plague, 25,000 population. But they demand iron to keep going. And the resources here produces iron ore, but it also requires carbon. So what's going on is, every planet has potential levels. In this case, it's a low-level planet, so it can go level 1 to level 6, 1 to 6. And every level increases, for the deposit, increases how much resource the planet produces for you to use. And for the actual colony, it greatly increases the amount of free memory it gives you. So every tier you upgrade a colony, massive increase for memory. Higher and higher. But the demand for it is also higher and higher as well. And the passive material to maintain life on this planet goes up too. So humanity gets kind of needy over time. And you need to develop your tech with that in mind as well. Speaking of, let's actually develop our tech. So here's our research screen. Lots of toys here, as you can see. But they sent us off with the ability to harvest water, the ability to mine iron ore, carbon, to generate energy from carbon, and some basic equipment technologies. But the rest of it they didn't bother to tell us. Like, they didn't even bother to tell us how to smelt iron, which we need, or to produce iron ingots, which we also need. Then to deal with our power supply, we want the carbon. The tutorial will actually tell you to go get carbon energy and then carbon energy and then mix the two, but I like to go straight into carbon ingot. And then next upon the chopping block, I think, is oil, electricity from oil, plastic plates, and then fuel from oil. Seems slightly backwards to me, that, but I can refine oil into fuel, but there is an oil planet nearby as well. And then lastly, I think I'll get one that's always needed as well nearby, which is iron shell. Now, notice my bar at the bottom has turned yellow. That's because that is projected use of my researchers versus my maximum from my colonies. And the green is what's actually been unlocked, and as you can see, it's slowly ticking up over there. If we back out, the research pods on my main ship are active, because they are giving me this delicious, delicious technology. Haha! The technology shall be mine. But anyway, let's get started on actually doing stuff. So, all these keys down here, there's no tooltips on them really. Oh, right, I say, no. It does appear after a few moments, but honestly, that's one of the shortcomings people often point at this game, because it's early access state. The interface is a little bit clunky, but it's not too bad. Let's go ahead and build. I want to build a station. You can only have one of these per station, but they have double the limits, I believe, versus a ship in terms of both size and weapon mounts. So let's found the Mars station. And for ease of use, I'm going to create a basic station pattern that I'm going to use for the rest of the game. As basically, it's going to be a starting point for me. Build a wall around it. Got to make it look pretty. A too-high segment is. Too-high segment will allow the construction bots and things to roll through it, or allow you to place gates and things. Oops, done that. But yeah, I'll do that. There we go. So that's there, and I tell my ship here to build it. And this is why we need this station, because iron ore into iron. Iron is our construction material. If I use all this up, I can't replace it. So this station needs to do that. But We've got these little bots that fly around. They can go in and out and do stuff. They're kind of slow, but they're also kind of neat to watch as well. They're also the original construction mechanic for this game. At some point, the developer decided to add in these construction cannons as well, which are apparently much more effective. So these bots have been relegated to secondary and eventually just get outright replaced. But I think that's a bit of a shame, really. Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Okay, we have our station core. Let's go ahead and give it a battery charge from our limited power reserves. That's something else we need. There we go. And you, I am going to save as a new blueprint as Station Core version 1. Okay. Because there are higher tech stuff we can find, which I'll be working with later, but this is my initial version. Now, let us actually begin. There are various things we can do in terms of like getting our processing and things going, but something I like to do is I'll just put down 3. Actually, no. Let's do a drop pattern, which it was fairly popular for quite a while until the game introduced these storage condenser things, which are very useful. But for now, we'll just do something for the look of it. Yeah, I think that sounds nice. Right. Trade hub allows transport to and from the planets the station is orbiting. Put that down. Tell it I wanted to use the iron ore. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this straight into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it like this. I didn't mean to have that. But that's one of the problems. All the hotkeys are all really close together. Let's put in a pair of extractors. Pneumatic pipes, which can transport items at 2 per second. These operate at 1 per second on iron ore. I know this, so I'm dropping into 2. The tutorial actually makes you make 3 of these per pipe, so it's actually slightly inefficient. Then I'm going to tell this to go down, and you can go that way, and you can go that way. So just customizing a bit. And I'm going to tell this thing to store materials. So what am I going to do? 10, 50, that will hold 100 materials. Now the thing is, a loose block is pushed out onto these pipes, it falls according to gravity. If it falls off the edge here, then you need at least an edge 2 wall, because all your machinery stuff is in layer 2. Bots fly around in layer 3, which is where the walls come in, and the background of the station is layer 1, so this is a 2.5D system. But I'm just going to pop it like this, just to make it look nice and neat. Yep. Then I'm going to merge all this together, because I'm also going to do some pipe work down here as well. You're on intake. And yeah, by the way, yes, you can set filters, and these are all the materials in the game, but right now I'm going to use the copy tube settings just to get that in place. Don't worry, it does get a bit easier from here, because this game does... The blueprinting does extend to including like pre-built sections as well. So that's all well and good. So let's go to stampers. Stampers can produce iron ingots. There's a copy to all function as well, so you can more easily spread things out across the machinery and stuff like that. So that's all, there we go. Those two will populate this, they'll go into this. I want to build some more, so we'll do this, which is, of course, what I mentioned, copy paste. Ta-da! Like that. And apparently I misbuilt those walls. Oh well. I was just thinking I need to add in some spots for droids to go in and out, and then it's like, hang on, I didn't do that right. Who cares? Well, I don't really. 1, 2. There's also something in this game called gates, which you can't really place when you're dealing with a blueprint for some reason, because the game doesn't recognize it, but they can place between on a 2 high to make a barrier, like this energy barrier here. Don't know what purpose it serves, maybe it's defensive, I don't know. But anyway, let's get this section built up. Nice and chill, build it, thanking you. By the way, it goes to ×4. If you hit it again, it goes up to your processor limit. So in this case, about 30. And off it goes. And as you can see, because these are already set up, it immediately began to process and produce that. Hatch, that's it. But now that those in place, I can place hatches as well, like so. So, doing well, we got this thing up. Notice though, we're almost through our initial stockpile of iron. So, we need to do something about that and set this station up to be able to supply it. Now, since we're using block storage like this, we need to go in and get resource zone management up. So, click that. I want to create a iron zone, which is going to be this. Pop. There we go. And then I want a titanium ingot zone, which will be this. Like that, pop. And now that can be used by the auto logic for ships. So if this thing runs out of construction material, it knows there should be iron here. It can pop back, grab some, and resupply. I'll just manually resupply now though. Like that. And as you can see, now it's suddenly started producing ingots as well. Manufacturing already beginning. So that said, because this world also requires iron, which comes straight from this, I'm actually going to do something slightly different here, which is I'm going to include another trade hub. 3, 5. I'm going to include a trade hub here and here. Get a bit more like that, so all that's just bolted onto the side of it. And I'm going to just include the automatic thing here so that stockpiles don't affect supply of planetary resource. And planetary resource comes in at just under to just over 2 per second. So it's roughly 1 tube joint of production, but it's safer just to have 2 just in case. So that's what I'm going to do here. Let's put like that. Like that. And then these 2 are going to come like that. Now, you can probably see there's a bit of a problem here. Tangle of tubes. But I can use a tube joiner to bypass this. Like that. And just correct the arrangements again. Yep, that's all fine. You bring in iron, you export iron, and you guys will just smelt iron. And that'll deal with all of that. Assume I get the right thing. There we go. So no storage attached, nothing fancy, but this is already taking down requirements for this particular station to do all that. Okay, next step, we're going to speed this up. For the next station, we're going to use the same kind of setup here. So I want to go in, grab the blueprint of this entire section here. I will Control C. No, actually, I'll just grab this bit here, Control C, pop it like that, and then I'll actually go ahead and reset these machines. Why am I doing that? Because I've realised I've misdone it slightly. Delete. Because what I want actually is a blank section rather than a section which is already preset. So I'll just go that, Control C, changes, left Control S. So basic processing module, all that, save it. It's all blank, it's all not set up, it's all going to be okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this. And that's what I wanted, so let's go ahead and jump to Venus. Pop. Hello Venus, I claim you, in the name of humanity. Long may we wave. Needs iron ingots, you notice. Also produces carbon ore, requires carbon for the deposit upgrade as well, but that carbon ore is, if you recall, carbon ingots into power was something I was doing. So this is going to be our first and, for a long time, our major power supply. Now, let's bring up the blueprints menu. This game comes with many custom blueprints for ships and fighters and things. It comes with a few for stations, and it comes with a few for modules, so it gives you a hand to start out, no problem. But we are after the custom stuff, you know, all the bling. So there's our custom station core. There's the custom basic processing module that I did. And there's a custom ship I made a while back when I was first poking this game. It's just a little dinky scout meant to look around in enemy systems and try not to get shot at. So don't read too much into that one. Station core V1. Let's build this one here. Yep, you are from Station Venus. Then I will tell it to, of course, do the things, which is that. Trade hub. Then drop that there. And here's that processing module. And I'll just pop it like that, I think. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. Same deal. Plumb it in and set up for the local system. So this would be carbon. These will be refining into standard carbon blocks. These will be producing... These are producing cough. Yes. We will make cough. Not really. I've messed it up ever so slightly. Let's go ahead and whack a copy out. I guess right there for the moment. Oh, yeah, because it's paused, I disconnected that from the station core, so the entire thing went bye-bye. So things can get blown apart in this game. So that's something to watch out for in your designs, actually. Especially if you're modifying a design, you could actually cause an entire section of your station to just fall off. But there we go. See, there goes that section. That's all good. Okay, that seems fine. Let's get that built. Oh, can't forget about the walls. Because these things push sideways, got to remember, if it gets too full, it will start going off the sides, and therefore wasting product. But that's just because of how I've got it set up. There we go. Let's give it another power charge. And as you can see, we've got stuff starting, we've got ingots starting. We are currently producing our power from carbon ingots, and this is going to plug straight into that. So what we need is our power plant. These operate at 1 per second, so 2 of them for a single tube, same as before, and we'll just plug them in like that and tell them to use carbon ingots. Now we just need the technology. Give us the technology, please. Thank you. Slowly wind that up. There we go. Okay. Got that. Let's actually do the building. And as you can see, it ran out of iron, so my ship is actually now bolting away. So we weren't exactly being max efficiency in terms of building stuff, but we had enough iron to get what we've got sorted, which is exactly what we needed. Just have to wait for the ship to come back. There it is. Come back, half a load, finish it. Extra power generators up. Excellent. Last thing, this is a power supply station, so energy policy is set to, instead of recharge station, give it to ships that request it. So we can use this now to supply our main ship. Though we'll also use it to supply automated energy carriers later on as well. Speaking of, that should probably be our next ship, because our mothership requires energy. This station does require energy, but it's producing its own as well. And the station producing iron over in the Mars sector also requires energy. And as you can see, it's almost run out, so that requires energy. So, we need to build us a ship. Now, we could do the standard thing, which is the easy way. We would build the required ship here, which is this, an energy carrier T1. Let's see, what does it say? It holds up to 44,000 power. Do we really want to do that, or do we want to do our own custom job? I say custom job. Let's do our custom job. Let's do a custom job. This playthrough will only use custom ships. So, custom. We place down a ship core. Jump up there. Engine transport V1. Okay, that's going to be there. And we're going to get started with some stuff. Now, one thing I would like to mention though is I could build dedicated stations or dedicated ships just to research, but I think I want to try and have my research capacity built into my existing ships. So that way, as I naturally expand my ship fleet, I will expand my capacity for research speed. Just because I am Schmert. I'm a Schmert AI bent on total domination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got to watch it, and I need to process everything. So yeah, making my ship smart, I think, fits the bill. 44. I'm also considering like how much to do to everything, but yeah, I'll keep at it, and I'll show you what I've got before the end of the episode, since this is roughly half an hour now. So I'll just get this ship done and built and get it moving, and then we can wrap it after that. Okay, yeah, I think that'll do. It's slightly different compared to the standard one, just a little bit. But it's also got high capacity, and it's got a fair chunk of processing capacity in as well. It's just got 22 extra processing bits in it. Should serve quite well, honestly. I've also laid it out in such a way where we can actually upgrade it with higher tech batteries later on without having to change the hull around at all. So it's somewhat future-proof too. All we have to do now, get this thing built, get it flying. Also install hatches, because blueprint mode wouldn't let me install hatches. You see what I mean though? Little worker bots buzzing around, just taking care of business. I think the game lost something slightly with that when it moved and gave it the construction beam. But as I recall, that might have also been due to a performance thing as well, like a massive shipbuilding program with too many of these bots was generating a bit of lag or something. Also, the fact your ship actually has to have routes through it to let these bots get to everywhere as well. I think that was also a bit of a concern. Okay, it took everything. This station is about to run out of power now, as you can see. Oh dear. But hopefully this will be enough to get this ship operational, but I don't think it will be. The ship is... It's fully decked out, but it's also a bit big. Yeah, out of material. Okay, jump to sector. Let's fix that. And give this station one more charge. Nope. Come on, build up your iron. I'm just waiting to give it another charge, just to get a double load out of it. There we go. And that should be plenty. Right. There we go. That's all the hatches I wanted to put into it as well. So, all right. Go ahead and get this thing loaded up. There we go. Fully operational. This ship is going to be saved as a new blueprint. This is Energy Transport V1. Yes. Of course, these things will cost a bunch of power while I'm actually researching stuff, but these ships should have a lot of power on hand anyway. Also, for comparison, this craft holds 66 versus the 44 of the standard, so 50% more power, which is still decent. But now that I've jumped that up, notice the XP bar is suddenly going more quickly. More important though, auto logic, you are an energy carrier. So it'll automatically go to stations which are set to supply power, grab energy, and then transfer it to wherever it's needed, be it a ship or a station. In this case, it's starting to refuel the flagship, as you can see. The one last thing we need to do, though, before we finish, is go into this station here, and I'm going to expand its capacity just a bit. Because since it's meant to be like a power storage station, we can go ahead and do this. There we go. More power storage means this can hold more power, which means that these things generate same constant rate, but these things will come by less consistently. They don't need to come by as often. Also, I forgot I need to assign zones for this one. Give me a carbon zone. We're going to be using that next episode, along with the carbon ingot zone, which will be like that. Drops a doozy. Of course, got to remember the carbon ingots are feeding straight into the power plant as well, so we do kind of want to increase the capacity of the station. So we're going to very quickly show off again the fact we can use the blueprint system to do this. So take all this and just plop it down right there. There. One more? One more. Okay. And apparently that's it, the station size limit. One drawback of doing storage like this, I suppose. That's okay. The size limit is a thing, so I guess it's just going to be these three then. Oops. Though of course we also need the pipes to connect to everything as well. I think that's also one of the reasons why the dev included the more condensed storage, just to start getting around this issue. Cells 1,400. So, how many cells on this one? Cells. So I think transport, maybe a ship can reach 1,000, while a station can reach 2,000. But yeah, that's okay. There we go. Notice this, the transport, our precious transport, shunting power all over the darn place. And of course the station has got massively increased generator capacity now, thanks to all those extra systems we just installed. So that's working quite well. And if we check Mars, the Mars station is, as you can see, restocked and charged. So that is all to the good. But we're going to end it there though, half-hour mark. That's it for this episode. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this, and it's a nice little chill time in Final Upgrade. Thanks for watching, hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you all some other time, some other place, some other video, some other whatever may take your fancy. Next time, we'll start to actually develop the human colonies and increase our memory storage. Because it may look like this is a lot, it's not. Techs get a lot more expensive than this. Also, we'll do some more efficient factories next time as well. But until then, see you all later.